Listen very closely, and you can hear the sounds of the West being born. It's the sound of the brave riders of the Pony Express. Wagon trains staging for a great migration of settlers.
That'll be $9.
And prosperous merchants exchanging the frontier for progress. It's the sounds that are still alive today in St. Joseph, Missouri, where the West officially started getting wild. St. Joseph, Missouri, a contemporary city that has preserved its rich Western heritage. A town that's filled with the echoes of booming business, courageous cowboys, and the heroic horsemen who made the Pony Express an American legend. St. Joseph, nestled along the bluffs of the Missouri River, has long been at the forefront of advances in transportation and communication, with the convergence of railroads, construction of a Missouri River bridge, and overland horseback mail delivery. If you're looking to explore the Wild West, St. Joseph, Missouri is your starting point. Long before this area was settled, Native Americans canoed, trapped, and traded here. Legend has it that they considered the bluffs above present-day St. Joseph sacred ground. At a young age, Joseph Robidoux recognized the potential of this area known as St. Michael's Prairie. The son of a wealthy St. Louis trader, Robidoux followed the Missouri River west in 1799 to trade with the Native Americans. At the start of the 19th century, the land between the Mississippi River and the Rocky Mountains had been owned by Spain, then France. In 1803, the Louisiana Purchase added millions of fertile, largely unexplored acres to the United States. Lewis and Clark, charged with mapping and exploring the untamed land, camped with their expedition on the banks of the Missouri River in this area in July of 1804, and again during their return trip in September 1806. Today you can see commemorative signs which mark where the expedition passed and came ashore. The Lewis and Clark expedition opened the way for American fur traders and gradual settlement of the new lands. It also set the stage for the growth of one of the most unique towns in the West. Joseph Robidoux finally settled in the vicinity and established a trading post in 1826. He founded St. Joseph nearly 20 years later and named it after his patron saint. When given a choice between designing wide boulevards or smaller roads, Robidoux stated he'd rather sell lots than give away land and streets. Robidoux built a series of connected houses in the late 1840s. Today you'll see how he and his family lived when you visit the Robidoux Row Museum. The timing was excellent, as the United States was looking west. Settlers and pioneers traveled by steamship from St. Louis up the Missouri River to where St. Joseph was fast becoming a site of commerce and trade. And St. Joseph was a major departure site for the wagon trains and settlers who opened up the West. The downtown bustled as outfitters organized wagon trains for trips on both the Oregon and California trails.
Could I offer you a piece of licorice this morning? Sure. Thank you. Hey, son. There you go.
Over 25 years, 525,000 settlers hazarded the various trails to start new lives in California and the Northwest in what was the largest voluntary exodus of people in world history. In 1848, prospectors discovered gold in California, and the rush was on. By the next year, 49ers were departing the east to look for instant riches. For many, the logical jumping-off spot was St. Joseph. More travelers left for California from here than any other river town. The gold rush increased steamboat traffic, and since St. Joseph was the westernmost point accessible by rail until after the Civil War, many came by train. By the end of the 19th century, the St. Joseph Rail Station received more than 100 passenger trains every day. In 1849 alone, 50,000 folks heard the call of fortune and headed west. Over the next few years, 150,000 came through the city to follow their dreams. Today, St. Joseph relives those days with its annual Trails West Festival during the third weekend of August, one of 10 festivals held annually.
We're here to tell their stories, their triumphs and their fears.
There was a need for those in the East to communicate with these new settlements in the West. Before telegraph, the only way was mail. The need to get documents and mail quickly to the new communities led to a communication system that has sparked the imagination of history buffs for years.
That'll do it. Get out of here.
The Pony Express. On April 3, 1860, brave young riders left St. Joseph carrying mail pouches across the plains and mountains, relaying them to their destination in Sacramento, California, a trip of 2,000 miles that took an average of 10 days. Simultaneously, other Pony Express riders carried mail back east. The Pony Express lasted only 18 months, but in that time, it sparked a legend that still lives today. The Pony Express National Museum exhibits the creation, operation, and termination of the famous overland horseback mail service. Every year, the National Pony Express Association reenacts the Pony Express ride between Sacramento to St. Joseph in June. Down the street, the original Pony Express headquarters is now the Patey House Museum. The exhibits preserve the memory of this uniquely American enterprise for today's scholars and tourists. The Patey House Museum and National Landmark, originally a pioneer hotel and headquarters for the enterprise, is now a museum dedicated to the era of the 19th century. The border state of Missouri saw numerous Civil War battles and guerrilla skirmishes. Atrocities and reprisals created hatred in divided St. Joseph, which experienced martial law throughout the war. The Mount Morris Cemetery contains the graves of more than 300 Union and Confederate veterans, buried side by side. The economic boom of the 1800s attracted entrepreneurs and businessmen. It made St. Joseph a magnet for banks, trains, and payrolls, and the people who robbed them. Right next door to the Patey House Museum is the home of one of the West's most notorious outlaws, Jesse James. Jesse, his brother Frank, and their gang were famous for robbing banks in the area.
Is that it?
That's all I got, sir. That's all I got.
Put it in the bag.
Yes, sir.
Hurry up, put it in the bag. Hurry up.
Try it, sir. Don't
Come
shoot,
on,
don't
let's go.
shoot.
Come on.
For a while, outlaw Jesse James walked the streets of St. Joseph, although he rented a home under the assumed name Thomas Howard. Jesse's life met a violent end on April 3, 1882, when he was gunned down inside his home by Robert Ford, who shot him in the back of the head. In 1995, an exhumation of the grave of Jesse James was conducted. DNA tests performed on the remains proved a 98% chance that the body in the grave is that of Jesse James, and that it was indeed Jesse who was killed in St. Joseph. Today, the James Home Museum contains a number of items owned by Jesse James and his family, as well as an amazing collection of photographs, newspaper articles, and artifacts from Jesse's grave. St. Joseph is a place where you can literally step back in time. And we can also bring history to life. Reenactors help tell the stories of Calamity Jane, Miss Lizzie King, and others. St. Joseph citizens are steadfast about preserving their city's history. And nowhere in the West are there more unique museums, all conveniently clustered. One distinctive downtown structure, St. Joseph's first police station, houses the National Military Heritage Museum. U.S. military uniforms and artifacts from the last century are displayed, along with documents dating back 150 years. The wealthy of the late 19th century also imported children's toys and dolls. The Society of Memories Doll Museum contains dolls, miniatures, and other fine items from around the world. Down the street at the Fire Museum, visitors can see an example of the first brass fire pole, which originated in St. Joseph, as well as other firefighting mementos dating to the Civil War. On the grounds of the St. Joseph Museums, visitors can see some of the finest Native American artifacts in Missouri and learn about the city's rich Black cultural heritage. Also located in the same building is the Glore Psychiatric Museum, one of the 50 most unusual museums in the U.S., which is a unique illustration of how mental illness has been portrayed and treated over the past 7,500 years. More than 3,000 works of art are displayed in the Albrecht Kemper Museum of Art, one of the finest collections of 18th through 20th century art in the entire Midwest. Get a feel for the rich economic history of the city at the Missouri Valley Trust Building. Built in 1859 to house the State Savings Bank of Missouri, steamboat captains and fur traders transacted business there. Legend says that Jesse James scouted this bank in hopes of making an unauthorized withdrawal just before he was killed. Near downtown, admire the breathtaking stained glass windows of the Twin Spires Church, once a convent. An 1879 Victorian residence, the Wyeth Tootle Mansion, beautifully illustrates the cultural and economic history of the 19th century with its pristinely renovated rooms. During the mid-1800s, St. Joseph was growing quickly, both in population and status. The city's position as a funnel for expansion into the western continent established St. Joseph as a regional economic hub. In 1887, St. Joseph was the second city in the U.S. to have an electric streetcar system. In fact, for a period, the city had more miles of streetcar rails than New York City. Wholesale houses boosted the city's prosperity during the last half of the century. At one time, St. Joseph ranked 4th nationally in dry goods sales and 5th in hardware. Homes of merchants and traders began to reflect the optimism and prosperity of the times. The wealthy hired architects from the East and Europe, so many houses and buildings still standing today represent the Victorian and Italianate design styles of the last half of the 19th century. One of the most interesting architectural gems in St. Joseph is the completely renovated Missouri Theater, a 1,200-seat 1927 movie palace that today serves as a regional center for the arts. St. Joseph citizens have long been interested in preserving their community and its natural surroundings. In 1927, a 26-mile serpentine parkway system was opened. This well-landscaped parkway is listed on the National Register of Historic Places, one of 50 such designations in the city. The air of commerce and creativity sparked many innovations to this western community. Today, St. Joseph is a regional hub built on a diversified economy of agribusiness, foodstuffs, pet foods, and tourism. Cattle made St. Joseph a livestock center, and today the stockyards remain a major part of the economy. Just as our location attracted Old West pioneers and settlers, today St. Joe is convenient for tourists who want to experience history. We are easy to get to, An interstate highway brings tourists within a mile of many of our historic sites, and Kansas City International Airport is just 30 miles to the south. Despite all its history, St. Joseph is a modern city, featuring unique shopping, restaurants, sports facilities, and more than 1,000 affordable hotel rooms. The Civic Arena in the heart of downtown hosts many events through the year, including concerts, trade shows, and sporting events. We hope you enjoy the warmth and hospitality of our contemporary city, one where the sights and sounds of history are still alive today. St. Joseph, where the West officially started getting wild.
That's all the money I got.
Put it in the bag.
Yes, sir. Anything you say, sir. Whatever. It's all I have. I'll be it.
Hurry up. Put it in the bag.
I'm hurrying. Sorry, sir.
Tell all your friends you've just been robbed by the great Jesse James.
Watch this.